Okay, well, Peter, we went on a very short trip to Namibia, too short, and we came back recently. So my first question to you, as a first time visiting Namibia on holiday as a visitor, how did you find it?
It basically stuffed up my life completely. From Namibia, I went into one of the most spectacular places in the Cape, Matroosberg, and went into the snow. And I was sitting there thinking of Namibia. So I'm not sure how to recover again.
Yeah, that's the thing about Namibia. You know, I've been there many times, and it's my favorite place on earth. And people often ask me, but why? Why? What is there to do, and what's there to see in Namibia that makes you so keen to go back all the time? But I think if that is your attitude, perhaps it's the wrong attitude. It's not that there's nothing to see or nothing to do in Namibia, but Namibia is more about the experience. It's not so much about doing something and seeing something. It's about the experience, experiencing the wide open spaces, experiencing the Namib Desert, experiencing the Kalahari Desert, for instance. So yes, for me, absolutely best place on earth.
I would have loved to be there now in the Kalahari when it's snow, because then it combines the best of everything.
Yes.
It would have been absolutely spectacular to see snow on those red dunes.
But okay, this was now our first trip together to Namibia, and hopefully not the last. And next time I think we will go camping a lot. And but let's talk about the trip we did. Our first 2 nights we actually spent in South Africa on the Orange River on the South African side, a place called Geelkrans. What did you think of that place?
Absolutely spectacular. You sort of drive in this incredibly beautiful area. There's not a tree in sight. There's nothing. There's no plants. There's no grass. There's nothing. It's just desert. And then you turn off the road on this really rough track that's not really marked, and then all of a sudden you end up in paradise. We have mango trees, and you drive through these trees, and then all of a sudden you end up below this massive cliff, something like 200 meters high, and the accommodation is right under that, and 50 meters further is the beautiful Orange River. It was really worthwhile staying 2 days there just to completely relax and get into the mood for Namibia.
I agree. In fact, I think it's a very good place to start a trip to Namibia. It's a very good place to end a trip to Namibia.
Yeah.
And all in all, I would say I can recommend that 100%.
Yeah, and from there we had a quite uneventful trip through the border post. And then we hit the long road all the way to Windhoek. And you took us to Joe's Garage.
Joe's Beerhouse.
Sorry, Joe's Garage is in Dunedin.
Joe's Beerhouse.
Joe's Beerhouse. And once again, it's one of those things you have to go. And if you go to Namibia, you'll probably end up there every time if you're in Windhoek.
It's just an iconic place.
Yeah, it's an iconic place, and it's just good. The staff is fantastic. The people, the guests are fantastic. It's just such a nice, positive experience.
Yes,
and,
but we did make a mistake. We were not adventurous enough with the menu.
Yes.
Yes, we could have done better there.
Yeah,
we were a bit safe.
Sorry, we had schnitzel.
Yes,
and we could have had anything.
We could have had zebra and I don't know. Pofadder, I don't know what else. Crocodile.
Next time we'll definitely go down that route. But what a fantastic night out, and we had a wonderful experience there as well. Well, I never knew Windhoek was a big city. I thought it was like Beaufort West. And I'm still driving to this beautiful modern city with lovely people.
And clean.
Yeah, clean.
It's one of the cleanest cities I've ever been to.
And we end up at accommodation. They say, sorry, there's some problem with the plumbing, and they'll take us to another place. And by now, all our instincts kick in. Is this a scam? Are we going to get robbed? So we get ready to fight, and then they keep driving, and then we end up in this really rich area, rich person's area.
Yeah, next to the government house.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I don't know, the president or
it's just spectacular, and they put us up in this incredibly luxurious house for the night, and that just kicked everything off for Namibia really well in my mind.
Yes.
Where did we go from there?
Well, the next day we went to Swakopmund, but we made 2 nice pit stops. First pit stop we took was we stopped at the B2 farm store near Karabib. Remember that?
Yeah, it was so cold.
Yeah, it was freezing, and we had coffee and cook sisters.
Yeah.
Well, cook sisters. And then the farmer said to us, but we must please go and have a look at his new campsite. He was now, it was the grand opening for his campsite that particular weekend. And that was quite nice.
Yeah, it would have been great to stay for that grand opening. I think there would have been a good party and lots of brine.
No, that looked like people that can party.
Yeah.
And so that was a nice pit stop, but quick. And then one of the highlights.
Yes, absolutely.
We stopped at the moon landscape, a place called Juanicontes. I'm not sure if I pronounce it correctly, but Juanicontes. It's like an oasis in the middle of the moon landscape, and we had something to eat there. You went for a walk, and that was very nice, and the campsite fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of those places where you really don't want to leave. I was gutted when we left. I really would have loved to stay there a few days and just explore. Once again, the people were unbelievably nice. And the landscape it's unlike anything I've seen in my life.
Yes. No, absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's one of the places I'll definitely go back to if I go to Namibia.
And camping.
Definitely camping.
Yes. They have self-catering, but camping, that's,
And the quiet, that's what got to me. It's protected against the wind, so you just have this complete silence.
Then we went to Swakopmund. Now, Swakopmund, I was a bit ill, so I'm not sure if that influenced my sort of feelings towards Swakopmund, but Swakopmund, all in all, was a little bit of a disappointment for me. We stayed there for 3 nights, and I think afterwards we all agreed we shouldn't have stayed there for so long. We could have rather have spent some of that time somewhere else, in the Namib Desert or in the Kalahari. But you at least enjoyed yourself, I think. You went for a walk in the dunes.
Yeah, that was lovely. I've always wanted to be in those dunes that you always see on photos. So I walked all the way to them and I started walking around in them, which was a great experience. I think Swakopmund is a place where you stay for 1 night and you move on. But we went to the north of Swakopmund.
In this bay.
Yeah. Yeah, and Andy's Bay is quite bizarre, and there's a lovely coffee shop which ticked all the boxes. I can't remember what it's called anymore. But between Andy's Bay,
there's a burger challenge there.
Yes.
That if you can eat that burger in I think 32 minutes, then it's for free or something. But it's massive, and there's only one guy that did it. And if you attempt it and you don't make it, then you get on the wall of shame. And there were quite a lot of people on the wall of shame, big guys. So,
so that was quite an experience. But probably one of my favorite places in Namibia is there's this bizarre little village between Swakopmund and Andy's Bay. Can you remember the name?
Yes, well, I think I know, or I think I pronounced it correctly when I say Los Kasbaken.
Yeah.
Los Kasbaken.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, I think if I go back to Namibia, I probably won't stay in Swakopmund, I'll go stay there.
If one can.
Yeah, Andy's Bay looks a bit like Brackenfell, and for that matter, so does Swakopmund. but that place is just so unique, and you have the sense of freedom there. That's the reason why you come to Namibia.
But there are people, I think, that would enjoy Swakopmund. I mean, you know, the German architecture and the coffee shops and so on. And we did go to a bakery and we had that lovely fish and chips there at the museum.
Yeah, and there's the Beerhouse.
Yes.
That we had a few beers in.
Yes.
And that's nice. It's all great and so on, but that's not what ticks my box.
We've been there now, and so if next time we don't go there, we won't have FOMO at least.
Definitely.
Then we went to the Namib Desert, a place called Bushman's Camp. But on the way, we made another pit stop, a well worth pit stop at the Namib Valley of 1,000 Hills. Now that was quite nice.
That was a big pasella. We just sort of on the spur of the moment decided to go there, and it feels like a challenging road to get there. But once you're there, you just immediately forget how bad the road is.
Yes.
And we actually met Bushman's sister there. Lisbeth.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was an off day, and she welcomed us with open arms. And in the end, we all sat around the table drinking beer together.
Yes.
And just yacked and talked. And eventually, we had to say, okay, we have to leave now because we're going to Bushman. And she said we have to give him a big fat hug.
Yeah, but she didn't want to give us any inside gossiping news about Bushman or that we can bribe Bushman with. So she's quite loyal to her brother, which was a bit annoying. I thought maybe we can get a beer out of Bushman by bribing him or whatever.
But that's also a place that I'll definitely, if I go back to Namibia, I'll go stay there for a night or two.
Yeah, it's fantastic views. Fantastic views. Yeah, and then Bushman's place.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now that's one of those places when you really want to cry when you left. I was so heart sore when we had to go. I could have stayed there for another 3 days, 4 days. I walked every